Welcome back to Exploring Stoicism. Have you ever felt completely ignored by someone you care about and you're left wondering what to do next? It's a tricky situation, right? But what if I told you there's a smart Stoic way to handle it that can actually strengthen your relationships? Today, we're uncovering some golden advice on how to act when someone decides to give you the silent treatment. Stick around, because each principle we share is packed with insights you won't want to miss. Consider what Marcus Aurelius once stated: "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This thought is particularly pertinent here, urging us to transcend the adverse behaviors of others. Rather than responding with pain or irritation, we uphold our dignity and poise, demonstrating that we refuse to lower ourselves to their level. Before we move forward, could you please hit the like button, subscribe to join our vibrant community, and leave a comment below with the phrase, "I rise above." This phrase will serve as our rallying cry as we navigate each principle, reinforcing our resolve to approach these situations with elegance and strength. Your comment helps us signal to YouTube that more viewers like you benefit from this content. Ready to change your perspective? Let's begin. Principle number 1. Embrace indifference to external opinions. Have you ever felt controlled by someone else's temperaments as though you're a marionette? It's time to sever those strings and move to your own rhythm. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now." This powerful statement reminds us that our reactions are within our control, not the external circumstances or others' opinions. Suppose your significant other unexpectedly starts to ignore you. Instead of succumbing to worry, remind yourself, "I rise above this." This doesn't imply you disregard their feelings, but rather you choose not to let their demeanor unsettle your peace. It involves recognizing the situation, perhaps with a playful remark like, "Seems like you've activated your stealth mode," and then giving them space while you continue on with your day, unbothered and smiling. This attitude of emotional self-reliance not only aids in maintaining your composure, but also reshapes how you engage across all your relationships. You become less reactionary and more balanced, a person who navigates smoothly even when others attempt to disturb your peace. So the next time you find yourself neglected or dealing with a moody partner, recall Aurelius's advice. Distance yourself from the drama, preserve your serenity, and affirm cheerfully, "I rise above." After all, your peace is yours alone, and no one else should control it but you. Principle number 2. Reflect on the nature of relationships. Ever pondered whether every relationship deserves a prime spot in your life? Often, we cling to connections that do not serve us well, similar to keeping spoiled milk in the fridge, hoping it won't ruin your coffee. It simply doesn't add up. As the wise Greek philosopher Plato once observed, "Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet." This quote beautifully captures the reciprocal essence of healthy relationships. But what if the other heart remains silent? This is your cue to reevaluate. Perhaps it's a friend who has grown distant or a partner who appears uninterested. Take this moment to reflect. Is this relationship offering the harmony Plato spoke of, or has the melody become discordant? In practical terms, this might mean initiating a straightforward conversation over coffee, suggesting, "I've noticed we're a bit out of sync. What's going on?" This isn't about assigning blame, but understanding whether both parties are still in harmony or if it's time to change the playlist. This method keeps the atmosphere light yet direct, bridging the gap without causing a stir. So remember, relationships are a bi-directional journey. If you often find yourself alone on this path, it may be time to re-evaluate if this route is still suitable for you. Reflect on the give and take in your interactions, and don't hesitate to inquire whether you both still enjoy the same melody. And as we always say, I rise above, holding on to what no longer benefits us, always prepared to discover new harmonies in relationships that truly resonate. Principle number 3. Cultivate self-sufficiency. Isn't it interesting how we frequently expect others to shape our happiness, as if waiting for someone else to paint our mood every day? It's like handing over your paintbrush. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. This statement is a compelling call to reclaim your paintbrush and color your days with shades of joy and self-content. Imagine you're organizing a romantic dinner, hoping it will smooth over a rough patch in your relationship. What if your partner isn't as thrilled as you expected? Rather than letting disappointment overshadow the evening, take a moment to appreciate your own company and the effort you've put in. Lighten the mood with a joke. Seems I've prepared enough gourmet pasta to solve world hunger tonight. This shows you can find humor and contentment even if things don't go as planned. Cultivating self-sufficiency means seeking fulfillment within ourselves, rather than relying entirely on others for it. It's about enjoying that pasta dish on your own if necessary, valuing your own efforts, and understanding that your well-being doesn't depend on someone else's reactions. So, let's tighten our grip on that paintbrush, friends. Whether it's in relationships or other areas of life, remember that self-reliance is your secret weapon. It enables you to manage ups and downs with grace and a bit of humor. And whenever you start to depend too much on others, gently remind yourself, I rise above, and regain control over your own happiness. After all, the best chef in the happiness kitchen is you. Principle number 4. Use the obstacle as the way. Have you noticed how sometimes the very thing that irritates us in relationships is actually the key to our personal growth? It's like being stuck in a traffic jam and realizing it's the perfect time to catch up on that audiobook. The Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday succinctly states, "The obstacle is the way." This philosophy challenges us to convert obstacles into opportunities, transforming what might seem like barriers in relationships into avenues for development. Take, for instance, when your partner forgets something important to you, such as an anniversary. Rather than viewing this oversight as a fault, see it as a chance to express your feelings and establish future expectations. You might add a bit of levity by saying, "Looks like we're both getting too seasoned to remember dates, huh? Maybe it's time for that oversized calendar I noticed at the store." This approach uses humor to address the issue while paving the way for constructive conversation. Using the obstacle as the way involves seeking solutions rather than fixating on problems. It encourages us to ask, how can this enhance our relationship? Or, what can I learn from this situation? This viewpoint not only deepens our understanding, but also builds our resilience and empathy within the relationship. So let's view each challenge as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Remember, every tough moment in a relationship is an opportunity to practice patience, enhance communication, and strengthen ties. And as we navigate these challenges, let's keep our mantra close to heart. I rise above. By doing so, we transcend petty issues and perceive the broader picture of personal growth and mutual understanding. Principle number 5. Practice forgiveness. When someone overlooks you, or there's a miscommunication within a relationship, the initial response might be irritation or bitterness. But what if we viewed these instances as chances to practice one of the most liberating Stoic principles, forgiveness? As the insightful Alexander Pope famously wrote, "To err is human, to forgive divine." This phrase isn't merely poetic, it's practical, underscoring that forgiveness is an elevated, nearly sacred act that liberates us from the weight of resentment and anger. Imagine your partner fails to call when they're running late. Rather than letting annoyance take over, adopt a forgiving approach. Perhaps lighten the mood when they arrive with a quip, "I was about to send out a search party, but it looks like you've spared them the effort." This use of humor not only eases tension, but also creates a space for understanding and reassurance without harboring grudges. Forgiveness in relationships isn't about overlooking mistakes or poor behavior. It's about choosing not to let these setbacks derail the entire journey together. It means recognizing the slip-up, discussing ways to prevent similar issues in the future, and then genuinely moving on. This fosters a nurturing environment for both personal and collective growth and deepens trust and respect between partners. So, friends, let's actively choose to practice forgiveness. Each time we opt to forgive, we reinforce our own peace and reaffirm our commitment to harmony in our relationships. Remember, every act of forgiveness is a step towards a more compassionate and resilient partnership. And as we forgive, we rise, echoing our mantra, "I rise above." Above the transient disputes to the heights of grace and understanding. And with this, we've reached the midpoint of our video. If you're still with us, it means you resonate with this content, and that's wonderful. If you haven't yet, I'd appreciate it if you could take a moment to like the video, hit the subscribe button, and leave a quick comment. Simply drop our mantra for today, "I rise above," in the comments. This lets us know that you find value in what we're sharing and are on this journey of growth and resilience with us. Now, let's move on to the next principle. One you definitely don't want to miss. Principle number 6. Trust your inner voice. When you find yourself being overlooked, it's essential to tune into your intuition, your inner voice. This internal guide often reveals more about a situation than overt actions or words might suggest. As Shakespeare eloquently put it, "Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string." This quote underscores the importance of relying on our own perceptions and judgments, especially when external affirmations are absent. Consider a situation where someone important to you starts to pull away. Rather than getting caught up in anxiety or concocting stories in your head, take a moment to reflect on your deeper feelings. Has their behavior changed unexpectedly? Is this silence unusual for them? Your intuition can help you understand whether they are merely preoccupied with their own challenges or if their quietness has deeper implications for your relationship. Listening to your inner voice means deeply considering your emotions and thoughts before acting. Perhaps it suggests giving the person some space, or maybe it encourages you to check in and see if they're all right. You might send a playful message like, "Hey, just checking if you've been abducted by aliens since you've been unusually quiet. Everything cool?" Remember, your intuition is a vital tool in navigating the complexities of relationships, particularly when direct communication may be lacking. So, trust that internal guidance. It may not always provide immediate solutions, but it will help you respond in ways that are authentic to you. As we continue to uphold the mantra, I rise above, allow your inner voice to support you in overcoming confusion and uncertainty. Trusting yourself is about making choices that are not only right, but also resonate with your core values. Let's proceed to the next principle, equipped with our intuition and a renewed sense of self-assurance. Principle number 7. Seek clarity through honest communication. Being ignored can often plunge us into a sea of uncertainty, but relying on assumptions is a shaky foundation for any relationship. George Bernard Shaw astutely observed, "The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place." This statement highlights the critical need for clear and direct communication, as presuming others understand our feelings or intentions can lead to misunderstandings and disconnects. When you're feeling sidelined, the impulse might be to mirror the silence or withdraw. However, adopting a Stoic approach involves initiating open and sincere communication. If a friend or partner seems distant, a forthright conversation could clarify the air. You might express your concerns by saying, "I've noticed we haven't been connecting much lately, and I'm concerned about how you are. I value our relationship and want to ensure everything is okay between us." This method not only addresses the immediate issue, but also fosters an atmosphere of respect and care rather than conflict. It demonstrates that you're not merely reacting to being ignored, but are actively seeking to understand and address any underlying problems. By breaking the cycle of silence with honest dialogue, we maintain our integrity and deepen our connections. Remember, as we rise above with our guiding mantra, let's not hesitate to engage in conversations that might bridge divides and strengthen our relationships. Honest communication serves as a critical bridge, built on the foundations of understanding and respect, essential for nurturing healthy and rewarding relationships. Principle number 8. Maintain your virtue. In moments when you feel disregarded or marginalized, it might be tempting to respond in kind or allow your standards to falter to meet the level of treatment you're receiving. However, adhering to the Stoic principle of maintaining your virtue, regardless of others' actions, is vital. Epictetus wisely counseled, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This advice is a potent reminder that our true strength and character are demonstrated not through words, but through our actions, especially when under pressure. For instance, if a loved one begins to ignore you, sustaining your virtue means continuing to treat them with kindness and respect, no matter their current demeanor towards you. It's about elevating yourself above minor reactions and maintaining a composed and dignified presence. You might maintain light and courteous interactions, perhaps adding a touch of humor to show you're taking things in stride. "Hey, just checking to ensure you haven't transformed into a statue. You've been incredibly quiet." By doing so, you not only uphold your self-respect, but also create an opportunity for the other person to re-engage without feeling bitterness or discomfort. Upholding your virtue in such situations is a testament to your character and can inspire those around you to reflect and possibly adjust their own behaviors. Let's commit to I rise above by living our highest values in every interaction, regardless of the situation. Maintaining our virtue is not merely about staying true to ourselves. It's about setting a standard and fostering an environment where respect and kindness prevail, paving the way for deeper understanding and reconciliation. Principle number 9. Visualize the ideal response. Ever found yourself reacting poorly to being ignored and later regretting it? This is common, and Stoicism offers a solution by teaching us to envision our ideal responses ahead of time. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once described life as more like wrestling than dancing, highlighting the necessity of being proactive and prepared to maintain our composure, similar to how a wrestler anticipates their opponent's moves. When you are being ignored, rather than responding impulsively, pause to envision how your best self would manage the situation. Picture responding with calm, insight, and perhaps a bit of humor. For instance, if your partner is not speaking to you, visualize yourself breaking the ice with a light but meaningful comment like, "It seems we're competing to see who can be quieter. You might be winning, but I'm here when you're ready to talk." This practice of visualization not only readies you for real interactions, but also alleviates anxiety and improves your grace under pressure. By rehearsing your ideal reactions, you align your actions with your principles, ensuring your actual responses are considered, reflective, and principled. Visualization is more than just a mental exercise. It's a technique that allows us to turn potential conflicts into opportunities for growth and connection. By predicting and practicing our responses, we ensure that our actions in the real world mirror our deepest values and intentions. While not every interaction will unfold as envisioned, being prepared allows us to handle surprises with dignity and poise. Think of visualization as a rehearsal for a performance. Just as actors rehearse their lines to ensure a flawless delivery, visualizing our responses enables us to express our thoughts and emotions effectively when it counts. This approach is particularly useful in relationships, where the stakes and emotions are high, and a misplaced word or tone can intensify conflicts. Additionally, visualization helps us understand ourselves better. It allows us to identify what triggers us and the responses that are unhelpful, enabling us to develop healthier, more constructive reactions. Each scenario we imagine and each response we practice builds our emotional resilience and improves our ability to navigate complex social interactions. As we continue to uphold I Rise Above, incorporating visualization into our strategy for dealing with neglect or misunderstandings enhances both our interactions and our character. This method equips us to handle life's challenges with elegance and humor, transforming potential conflicts into lessons and connections. Remember, each time you opt for a thoughtful response, you are not just maintaining relationships, you are strengthening your resilience and self-assurance. Let us continue to refine our reactions through visualization, ensuring we approach each situation not just adequately, but excellently. This is how we transcend difficulties, by preparing, practicing, and embodying our best selves, regardless of the challenge ahead. Principle number 10. Detach from outcome. Experiencing neglect or being overlooked naturally leads us to desire specific outcomes after we reach out or express our emotions, perhaps an apology, a change in behavior, or some acknowledgement. However, a fundamental Stoic lesson is to detach from the outcomes of our actions. Epictetus famously advised, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." This wisdom reminds us that while we can control our efforts and intentions, the responses of others are beyond our control. Imagine a situation where you openly communicate with someone who has been distant. You approach the conversation with integrity, humor, and clarity, maintaining your composure throughout. Regardless, the other person may choose to remain aloof or not respond at all. During such times, it's vital to practice detaching from the outcome. This detachment helps maintain your inner peace, and prevents feelings of disappointment or resentment from taking hold. For instance, if you reach out to a friend who continues to ignore you, it's crucial to remind yourself, "I rise above." This mantra reinforces that you have acted appropriately and that their lack of response does not lessen your worth or the significance of your effort. Detaching from outcomes doesn't mean you cease to care about your relationships or stop making an effort. Instead, it involves finding peace regardless of the result. It requires recognizing that your true contentment and mental well-being should originate internally, not from others' reactions or validation. This practice of equanimity isn't about indifference. It's about accepting that we can't compel others to behave as we wish, but we can govern our own actions and reactions. This understanding liberates us from the exhausting cycle of expectations and disappointments. By concentrating on what we can influence, our actions, our attitudes, our integrity, we align more closely with Stoic principles, leading to a more peaceful and fulfilled life. Moreover, this detachment improves our relationships, as it allows us to interact without imposing pressure, expectations, or manipulation. People often respond more positively when they do not feel forced or expected to behave in a particular manner. Detachment creates an authentic space where relationships can flourish based on sincerity and mutual respect. As we continue to embrace "I rise above," let us strive to detach from the outcomes of our interactions. This approach not only preserves our inner tranquility, but also empowers us to adhere to our values and virtues, regardless of external conditions. Remember, it is not the responses we receive, but the dignity and peace with which we handle situations that define our success. By focusing on our actions and releasing our attachment to specific outcomes, we achieve greater personal serenity and open ourselves to the true essence of Stoic freedom, living in harmony with whatever life offers. Thus concludes our exploration of the 10 Stoic principles for dealing with being ignored, each one a step toward greater resilience and understanding. We have thoroughly examined how to maintain composure, communicate effectively, and let go of outcomes, all while keeping our spirits high and unwavering. Thank you to everyone who has accompanied us through this journey. Your participation and support transform this platform into a robust and nurturing community for all. Now, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Share a moment when you were overlooked and how you managed it. Did you rise above? What insights did you gain from the experience? Your stories not only inspire, but also teach us all, fostering growth and collective learning. If this message resonated with you, please embrace and share our mantra for the video, "I rise above." Post this phrase in the comments to show that, regardless of circumstances, you choose to elevate above adversity and challenges. Your comments act as a source of motivation for others and help spread the message of resilience and inner strength. If you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this content with anyone who might benefit from a dose of Stoic wisdom on handling neglect. Each share broadens the reach of our message and empowers more individuals to overcome their challenges. Thank you once again for joining us today at Exploring Stoicism. Continue to hold "I rise above" dear as we support each other on our paths to emotional liberation and inner peace. Until next time, keep ascending and shining brightly.